Assassin's Creed Origins on the PlayStation 4. This is going to be a rest stop video. It might be the second. It might be the first of two rest stop videos I do. There's a lot of stuff here to kind of go over. I'm going to park this game for a while. Okay, look. I have not played many Assassin's Creed games since... In fact, let me put it this way. I played Assassin's Creed 2, 3, 4, Syndicate, or I think it was Unity, the one that was set in France. And I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was the first Assassin's Creed game I actually liked. Mainly because I was trying to get into the other ones. I said, you know what, this is really kind of not my thing, and I'll go into more detail about that later. This game I came back to after playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, knowing that this game was more like Odyssey than previous Assassin's Creed games. Because this one is basically just a big open world sandbox with sort of reimagined combat compared to the sort of, you know, bone dry Arkham City style combat that was in the previous Assassin's Creed games. This is a bit more like, trying to describe it, a bit more like Dragon's Dogma, I guess, though it's not nearly as good. We'll go into more detail about that later. Several problems I've had with this game so far. I'd say it's a mixed bag, but I'll mention the stuff. I'll mention stuff in passing. Quests. Once you get past the opening section of the game, the entire game is open to you pretty much, more or less. For instance, you start out here in the Siwa area, which is a level 1 through 5, which means that the enemies here are levels 1 through 5. The quests and all the enemies you face are no higher than level 5. Once you complete, but the rest of the game is blocked off until you complete the story quest that unlocks the rest of the game. It takes less than an hour, so that's good. It has better pacing, I would say, than some other open world games I could name. We aren't going to talk about that, at least not yet. So once that's opened up, you're able to go anywhere on this map you want. You can literally, in fact, the entire map is black. But if you if you walk or take a camel or get on a boat, you can unlock all these areas except for the ones over here. These areas are completely sealed off. And I'm not sure, how did I come to that conclusion? I think it's like I tried to go across the river and the game eventually kept me from going any further east or south. So it was pretty obvious that the game was cutting me off. As you can see, here's the Nile River Delta right here near Alexandria, and of course the game follows the western half of the Nile River bank. So you will not see Cairo here, at least based on what I've seen. But the idea is that you wind up getting to Memphis, you get the pyramids in Giza. And Memphis is actually a very beautiful city. I'll show you a bit of that later. And I'll be mentioning on several times that this game is one of the best looking games ever made. I'll just put that out there right off the bat. This is a game, this is the rare video game, even more than Red Dead Redemption 2, which came out later than this. It's the rare game that actually is a place you actually want to visit. I wanted to see every corner of this map because the game looks so gobsmackingly gorgeous. It's kind of amazing. But the more important issue is that it doesn't have a cut and paste feel at all, despite the fact that there are vast swaths of desert here with very little in them, like over here. Especially the Black Desert or even the Great Sand Sea. There's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of empty areas in this game. At least at this point. But even the places like this seem to have a lot of at least have a lot of variety here in terms of how it's laid out. So I'll probably be able to show you that later. And even the places that don't have that much going on, again, they look good. You know, the rocks look fantastic in the Black Desert here. Stuff like that. And of course, there are the oases, which look amazing. And of course, you have the other areas that are interesting, like these, like the archipelago out here. You can actually, I think you can actually do all this on horseback. You can ride your horse and connect most of these islands. Because all the, this is all floodplain, basically. So if you ride your horse through all these tiny islands and get where you need to go without needing any roads. I'll mention the road system later because the game's autopilot system is kind of flaky. It's okay, but it's not great. It works in some roads, but not all of them. So keep that in mind. Oh yeah, I'll just mention some of these other areas. It's actually pretty easy to level up in this game because you level up by finding new areas. Like if you find new regions like this, these little waypoints right here. Or if you just approach this area, you can unlock another mission. and that gives you experience. Maybe 150 experience, which isn't much. As you can see right here, 150 experience doesn't give you very much. But clearing out an area like this might give you like 300 or 400 or 500 XP. I want to see you get 150. I want to see you get 300, 450, or 600 XP by completing some of these areas like this. So if you want to level up, you don't level up by killing people. You level up because you only get maybe 5 or 10 experience points by killing people. But you get way more experience by completing a level. So if you go here, you kill the captain, you loot the treasure, there might be 10 people in this area. But if you do complete these 2 objectives, you'll get all the experience you need. So the game encourages you to complete objectives. It doesn't reward you that much by killing people. And there's something to be said for that. Especially in a game called Assassin's Creed. You actually don't get that many points for assassinating fools. So that's kind of interesting. Where are the other areas? Yeah, Lake Mariotis is available pretty early. Again, once you complete the first story mission, you'll probably be at level 5 or level 6. So I think you'll be teleported over here to the lake. And there's one more area around here that's level 6, I think. No, this is it. And then this area is level 9. This city is level 9. But again, you level up quickly enough in this game that it's always worth it to explore a bit. Even if you explore an area like this, where you can't really do much in it, because if you run into a random enemy, they're going to kill you. Because the enemies here are way too high level for you to deal with. 2 arrow shots and you're dead. But if you roam through this area, you might unlock some stuff, like this fast travel point right here. It's in an area I'm never going to be able to explore thoroughly, because the enemies in it are too strong. But if you manage to get to this area and you synchronize up here on the little bird perch, you'll get experience for doing that. So just wandering around unlocking areas is usually a good enough. It's a quick way, well, not quick way, but it's an easy way to get a bunch of experience without completing any missions. And of course, you can complete some pretty simple missions like the papyrus puzzle. You just pick up the papyrus puzzle here. It's literally just sitting in the middle of a building. You don't have to complete any of these missions. I've completed a single one of these papyrus missions. I'm just hoarding them. But at some point, if you complete the little mysteries, the little self-contained mysteries that they do, you're going to get experience doing that too. I mean, I'll get to that later once I actually complete one. But the idea is that you can easily get experience doing a bunch of non-combat stuff. So that's actually not a bad thing. I wanted to highlight that because the game actually rewards you for doing a lot of stuff other than killing people. It's just as well because the combat in this game is kind of meh. I'll get into that later. I like the idea that you can get so much experience just kind of... In other words, the game doesn't pen you into a particular area, really. It makes areas that are adjacent to your early areas pretty easy to explore. And if you want to pick a fight with some high-level enemies, you can. But if you aren't strong enough, you can just go back and gain experience pretty easily. So the game doesn't pen you in that much. It's not like some open world games like Grand Theft Auto 4, where it's like, yeah, you can't leave this tiny little corner of the map till you complete some boring story quests or something. This game lets you go anywhere and do whatever you want at your own pace, pretty much. And if you want to, roll the dice and try to hang out in an area where the enemies are way stronger than you, like the Sakara Dome or the Isolate. If you want to run around and see if anyone stops you, go right ahead. If you want to challenge yourself, go right ahead. The game probably won't kill you right away because these places aren't guarded by high-level enemies. They're just kind of there. And if you trigger them, yeah, they'll kill you instantly, pretty much. But you can roam around pretty easily in this game, so I love that part of it. I'll go talk about the quests later because I really haven't been doing that many quests. What's the completed quest? There's actually a story mission that I completed just a couple of hours ago, I want to say. Where's the one? These are the low-level quests. Hidden text. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was a level 10 quest. That's a side quest. Okay, the game will tell us where the main quests are. Huh? Okay, there was a different quest. Yeah, here we go. It was down here. The game's like follow Thanos. It was one of those slow little walk and talk missions. It's actually kind of boring. The idea was that eventually I met my wife A at the library, and she was happy to see me. Let's just put it that way, in an M-rated way. But the idea is that I'm going to be able to complete this mission eventually. But once this part of the quest was completed, I got my hidden dagger, which was actually locked for a while. I leveled it up a couple of times, but the idea is that it's a blade that I didn't have access to at first. I didn't need it. I made it through 20 hours of this game. I got to level 19. I didn't need this hidden blade damage once. It was probably okay. I mean, I was just hitting people in the back of the head with my elbow to knock them out. So, non-lethal takedowns. Those are cool. But again, you don't have to do any of that. Once you complete the first assassination mission, who was it? This guy. Once you assassinate him, the rest of the game opens up right away. So again, you can do that in the first hour of the game. Let's see what else we got going on here. Gear. Should probably clear this up. You can hold one bow and one melee weapon on your person and switch between them instantly. If you want to unlock more, weapon slots, you have to buy them out of your skill tree. I'll show you that later. So here I can use my predator bow, but I cannot switch bows. So I can only have 6 arrows in this high damage bow that zooms in on enemies. It's basically for headshotting things. Now, if you want to equip a different bow, you have to go here and switch to a different bow. It's actually not terrible because you don't have to switch weapons that quickly. And the game pauses while you do this, so whatever. Just keep that in mind. If you want to switch on the fly, you have to unlock it on your skill tree. In fact, there's a skill tree option right here that says you can equip a second bow. But I'm not doing that because I'm not in a rush. I'll explain the skill tree a bit later. But let's say I'm dealing with an enemy that's already weak. I don't want to waste my predator bow arrows. I can switch to a weapon like this, which is a hunter bow, which has a power charge. All the bows in the hunter bow class basically have the same abilities here. This one is a special one that lights enemies on fire. You can actually do this to most regular bows. If you have a regular bow and you stand next to a flame, you can set it on fire.
Screaming every night.
See? My arrow's on fire now.
It is
you don't need that though, so put that away.
If I could put Sefeto's face into the fire, it would not be enough.
I guess we'll put that away. So you get the idea. The fire went away as soon as I put the sword away. That gives you some idea about what your options are. If there's no fire around, you can pull out a bow that sets things on fire for you. If you see on the bottom right hand corner of the little trading card here, it says ammo 22/22. That's how many arrows I can carry for this particular bow. I should mention that. Let me show you that. You have a quiver here that I leveled up twice. I want to say you can stash 15 arrows in there at first, then you can upgrade it to hold more arrows as you go. And that includes all the arrows in your stash. So you have 22 hunter bow arrows, 22 light bow arrows that are rapid fire. You have 22 arrows in these multi-bow warrior bows. These multi-arrow warrior bows are interesting because you always use 5 arrows at a time, no matter which warrior bow you use. So that means here is that I can shoot this bow 4 times basically, 5 times actually, because I use 5 bows 4 times, which means I use 20 bows. When I pull back this bowstring 4 times, I shoot 20 arrows basically, and then I'm going to have 2 arrows left. So I'm going to only be able to shoot 2 arrows for my last pull back until I have to recharge. I give you some idea what I'm talking about. You use 5 arrows at a time every time you use this bow until you use up all 22. And you can't choose how many arrows to let loose, so just keep that in mind. What other gear do I have? I should mention that this is not much of a gear game, I should mention. Because despite the fact that most of the gear you get is, has a higher quality level or a higher damage rating, whatever you want to call it, most of these weapons in the same class do the same amount of damage, I'd say. because you can only equip weapons that are no higher than your experience level. So like these swords right here, see right here, these are swords are level 19. These sickle swords are level 17. As you progress through the game, you find weapons that are no stronger than your current experience level. So if you see down here, I'm level 19. That means every weapon I find is level 19 or lower. Period, no questions asked. I want to say that's true. Yeah, it's also true with the shields. Every item, every piece of gear I find is no higher than my current experience level. Now, if I go to the blacksmith, which I'm going to do in a second, the only weapons you can buy are within 1 or 2 levels of your maximum experience level. For instance, if I want to buy a weapon right here,
I will try.
See, he sells level 21 weapons here now. As I level up, he will sell more. He will sell even stronger weapons, higher level weapons. Just keep in mind, you can buy it, but you can't equip it until you reach level 21. But the game never spawns weapons that are stronger than you are, than your ability to wield them. So I guess that's a good thing, because I played games like Titan Quest, Diablo 3. Well, you will find the loot table includes weapons that you can't equip right away. But you rarely would get, as far as I recall, you rarely got weapons you couldn't equip within like a couple of experience levels. So if you're level 10, you might find a level 12 weapon. But you're never going to find a level 20 weapon, I don't think. Not from my experience. Now in Diablo 3, you might end up going to a blacksmith and he'll offer to make you a weapon that is 20 levels higher than you are. You'll never be able to equip it, but that's the kind of game Diablo 3 is. This game is only about spawning weapons you can equip. The problem is that there's no incentive for you to go into high-level areas and find better weapons. Like, if I go here and try to look for a weapon in this high-level region, like, where is it? Like, in the isolated desert, I guess. There's supposed to be a town around here somewhere. Like, right down here, yeah. It's right here in Fayum. This is a level 24 region. So if I'm I'm under level 24. So most of the enemies here are very strong. All the quests in this region are very strong. But if I find a weapon and a treasure chest around here somewhere, it's gonna be no higher than level 19. So you don't want to go to these high-level areas and try to find weapons, because they're not going to be any stronger than the weapons you're carrying. There's no incentive for you to go to a high-level area and try to defeat the enemies there and loot the treasure chests, because they are going to be no stronger than the weapons you find in a normal region like here. The same weapons are here. If I go to Lake Mariotis, which is 13 levels lower than I am, and I open a treasure chest, I'm gonna get a level 19 sword, or maybe something a bit weaker. But I'm never gonna get anything stronger than that. So there is no risk reward for going to a different region and looting treasure chests, to my knowledge. I've done it before and I haven't gotten anything that was significant. So don't go to other areas to find better weapons. You won't find them. You might be able to clear out some areas and get a little bit more experience, I guess. I don't know if that's how that works. But it's almost never worth it to do other areas unless you want to challenge yourself. If you want to get shot in the head, fine. Go to a high-level area and try to make trouble. You'll get killed in a couple of seconds. But maybe you'll luck out and you'll find a treasure chest. Like I found this whatever you call this thing. It's the first thing I've ever found, called a Demesne. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Demens. I have no idea how to pronounce that. But I found it and there were no enemies around there. But there were some high-level alligators wandering around, so if those gators found me, they would have killed me in like a single bite. They were pretty nasty. But I was able to explore this area a little bit, just to kind of see what was here. And I did this a lot. I just wandered around just to kind of see if I can find more fast travel points. Because as you wander around the map, sometimes if you find a region, if you explore this region for the first time, you'll unlock something like this. I haven't gone anywhere near this area, but if I go here, I'll be able to explore the city a little bit. But I couldn't unlock this area until I actually rode past it on my camel. So that gives you some idea about what we're dealing with. So it is possible to explore areas that are way too strong for you, that are way too dangerous for you to wander around in, but there is some benefit to it. because you might unlock fast travel points that will make exploration easier later. You might find like something like that, but it's almost never worth it. So explore if you want, but don't do it with the expectation that you'll find anything that's extremely valuable, other than fast travel points. But it gives some structure to the game if you limit your exploration to places that you can visit. I like the idea that you can visit them if you want, and kind of challenge yourself. If you want the game to beat you in the face, it will. I want to show you this Ptolemy statue, by the way, and these weavers. I don't want to get into trouble because, again, if anyone attacks me, I'm going to die. It's just how it works. In fact, before I do that, I want to show you these weavers, because the weavers are one of the problems I have with this game. Out of my way, citizen. You can run over people, but you can't really kill them.
Speak, friend. Tell me of
Sell.
your needs.
You can sell my crafting materials, or I can sell my unnecessary materials. You have unnecessary materials like trinkets down here. They're worth quite a bit of money if you find them inside treasure chests. You can also sell animal goods. When you kill animals, you get meat like this. You can just sell them all at once. You can either let's see, you can press left around the D-pad to select how much you want to sell them for. Or you can just hold down the D-pad and sell every one of those things. So all the animal items and all the trinkets have been sold. Easy money. But again, I'm not spending my money on anything, because what am I going to buy? Well, now I can buy crafting materials, because before the only thing that weavers would sell would be these stupid outfits that are completely cosmetic and they serve no purpose. They mean absolutely nothing. They don't change your ability to sneak around. They don't change your ability to absorb damage. They're completely cosmetic. It's not, I think, like, what was it, Metal Gear Solid 5, no, Metal Gear Solid 3, I believe. The camo you wore was determined how easy you would be seen by an enemy in certain environments. In this game, there is no camo system. There's stealth, but no camo. Don't even worry about it. Pelts. We can buy pelts, hard leather. These you can get from crocodiles. You don't have to worry about that. Pelts are kind of hard to find, though, so I'm going to buy a bunch of them. I actually unlocked a skill tree ability, excuse me, that allowed me to purchase these crafting items inside the Weaver shop, which is great because I wasn't able to buy these before. But because I earned all these ability points when I leveled up, I'm able to spend them on stuff like this. I'll show you what Layla's about when I finish up these. When I finish up my rest stop, I'll show you Layla because she's actually kind of worthless. At least I think she's worthless. Remember, this is an Assassin's Creed game, so this is all a virtual reality simulation, whatever the crap you want to call it. So if you want to leave the simulation, you have to go as Layla. And I'm not going to do that because I can't be bothered to do that. Skill tree. Early on, you get stuff like this, which only consumes one ability point. Eventually, you start unlocking branches of the skill tree where stuff is worth 2 or 3 points. Like this stuff over here is worth 2 ability points. This good stuff over here is worth 2. Eventually, the stuff here at the end of the branches of the skill tree are worth 3. There might be some 4s around here. These are 3s and 2s. That's how many ability points it takes to unlock that. But to get to it, which is this is the one that I really want, this animal taming skill. But to get here, I have to unlock it by unlocking the parts of the branch first. So if I want this one, I got to unlock these. Pretty much. Or I can go this way and unlock it by going around this branch of the skill tree. So it's locked behind 2 prerequisite branches. I just have to pick the branch that I want. And there's stuff like this at the end of the skill tree where it's like, yeah, if you've spent all your points, you can increase your damage for tools by 1%, your damage for melee attacks by 1%, your damage of bows and arrows by 1%. This ability can be acquired multiple times. The idea is, if you want to reach the end of the skill tree, you can dump off your ability points into a skill like this that just makes you stronger a little bit at a time. If you don't want to spend your ability points on anything else, you can build in that direction where you just stack boosts to your skill on top of each other to the end of time, I guess, until you reach 100%. I don't know. But I like the idea of having a skill at the end of a tree that literally serves no purpose other than just giving you more of a boost. And all these weavers sell the same stuff, so it's annoying. Okay, so we're going to kill this statue. There's no way to know where these are until you actually walk past them on the road. Now, if a soldier saw me do that, he'd attack me. And these soldiers are very strong, so they would kill me. But I get experience points by doing that. So if you find them, get them out the way, because you get quite a bit of experience doing that. But I'm going to need way more. I'm going to need, like, what, 3,000 more experience points? I'm going to need 3,800 more experience points. So the only way for me to gain experience at this point, really, is to complete quests. We'll talk about those later. What abilities did I get right away? Well, you see the ones that I have. The ones that I really wanted, the air attack is actually kind of interesting. You do have a leap attack in this game, but if you do this, you don't need to leap attack. You just choose what attack you want to do while you're in the air. Let's see. I haven't parried at all. I don't use my shield at all in this game. You don't need it. The combat's not that interesting. You don't have to worry about your shield. Yeah, although if an enemy has a shield, you can use your charge heavy attack. I haven't had to use this yet. I probably will later. I'm on the hard difficulty level right now because the normal difficulty is too easy for the most part. The hard difficulty level doesn't seem to change anything. Maybe it makes enemies slightly stronger. I should probably mention that I haven't bothered to increase my health that much. Like, I'm using the weakest shield in the game, or one of the weakest shields in the game. Because shields, all the shields do is give you more hit points. But here's the thing. I'm using this weak shield down here. There are much better shields up here. They give me 4 times the hit points, but I don't really need them, I don't think. I could use them. I want to challenge myself with it. So again, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty level with some of the weakest armor in the game, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think I need more hit points. I mean, I've died a few times due to carelessness, but I haven't really died because enemies are really tough. So the idea that I'm kind of challenging myself and that I can make my own difficulty level a little bit helps. I can make the game even harder than it is, which isn't that hard, frankly. There's stuff like this I haven't tried yet. You can stun humans. You can't stun animals. I haven't noticed my eagle stunning animals. But if you're in eagle mode, you can harass enemies by harassing them. See if there's an example. Yeah, I press up on the D-pad to get my bird out. Sometimes he has to cool down. Give me a second. Hold R2 on the R2 on the controller, and you look for the reticle to shrink. In fact, you can look for the little arrow right down there on the outside of the reticle. That shows you what the direction of the items you need to collect. So this part of the hunt is actually kind of interesting because you're kind of looking. It's like that little beeper in Far Cry 2 or the beeper in Just Cause 2. You look around for stuff and see if you can find treasures. This is how you find the treasure chest. Here we go. See a treasure chest down there. No enemies here, surprisingly. Maybe there will be later, just not now. I'm actually kind of shocked. Oh yeah, there's also animals out in the distance. That gives you some idea about what's going on. But yeah, no enemies are here. I'm kind of surprised. Like I said, it's a high-level area, so just keep that in mind. There are a few other tricks you can learn. Like if you're riding on a horse, you can you can use your bird to kind of point the direction, kind of scope out the area. So it's kind of interesting. I'll show you that later if I can. Let's see. So I destroyed the Ptolemy statue. I'll show you this wandering merchant. This wandering merchant isn't that interesting because he only sells a couple of items and they're really expensive. They're like 3,000 gold, which is fine if you actually want those items, but I usually don't. And part of the reason why I don't want these items is because these items have the same problem that the rest of the game's, trading system has. For instance, you can sell stuff here. I can sell this stuff anywhere. Am I getting more money for it? Well, not really. I don't really need money that much. How much money? I'm not spending my money on anything except for arrows. And I can get arrows from the blacksmith. He refills them really cheap. So what's the point of so I'm not even worried about that. I can also dismantle these. I'll show you those later. Buy. He sells carbon crystals. I have 20 of these, but what are they for? I guess they're for making stuff, because these are pretty valuable treasures, but I'm just hoarding them. I don't know what they're used for. I guess they're just for selling. I can buy a random weapon or shield. But that's going to take like a third of my money. So I mean, I'm not going to get anything useful out of that. Can I sell these carbon crystals? I want to say no. Nope, can't sell the carbon crystals. So what are they for? Anyway, you're worthless, kid. I mean, I could buy a weapon, but what's the point of buying a weapon that's no stronger than the one I have? Maybe it's a little bit stronger. Maybe it has some weird, upgrade. Maybe it has some weird attribute that none of these other weapons have. And I don't see the point of it. So here's an example. I'm going to dismantle one of these weapons. Here's a weak weapon that only does 167 damage per second. Hold square to dismantle it, and I'll get bronze. Each weapon gives you a different material when you dismantle it. For instance, when you dismantle arrows, you get cedar wood. When you dismantle, like if I dismantle this one, for instance, a rain of arrows, 327. Yeah, it's kind of weak. If I dismantle this one, I'll get more cedar wood. Cedar wood I use to increase my the number of arrows in my quiver. See what I mean? So I need 66 cedar wood to increase my quiver, but I also need 16 pelt. I need 18 pelt to increase. Let me buy 2 of those. Probably a good idea. So I'll go get the what you call it. Wait, where's the blacksmith? I know you're around here somewhere. Oh wait. Was there no blacksmith in this town? Okay, never mind. You get the idea. I saw the blacksmith earlier. I have to buy some. Actually, I can go to the weaver and buy some crafting items. Give me a second. So if there's no blacksmith around, I guess I can just go to the weaver. I don't need to buy any weapons. If I can just sell this. Blacksmith has arrows. That's why I want the blacksmith. I don't have to worry about that yet. So if I want to buy pelts, I'll buy a couple of these. Hold the button down. People don't like that. I guess it's to prevent like accidental choices, but no. You can make the circle smaller, you know what I mean? Okay, so I can increase my quiver, or I can increase my max tool capacity, which means I get more sleeping darts. So let's do that. So I got more sleeping darts. See? I got 1 more sleeping dart. Which are somewhat useful if you're dealing with, say, guards. Like if there are like 2 or 3 guards in front of a treasure chest, you put them to sleep, steal the treasure chest, and leave. Also, if they're sleeping, you can assassinate them. But again, you don't get much experience for doing that. So I guess you should only do it if you really want to make the place less. If you want to whittle enemies down, I suppose. What else? Yeah, they're going to be any more loot. Oh yeah, there are also legendary items, I want to say. If you break down legendary items, you can get additional crafting materials. Like if you break down a legendary spear, you might get bronze and iron instead of just the iron. I don't think I have any legendaries, though. Legendaries and rares. And what do I get if I dismantle a spear? Iron. So I always get iron. Oh, and I got cedar wood that time. Okay. So I guess it depends on the weapon. 4. I can also sell it for money, but I don't really need the money. So I got bronze answers. So there's a range of materials that I'll get if I dismantle this stuff. You can also upgrade it, but to what end? I mean, if you upgrade it, you can basically you can upgrade these really weak weapons up to your current experience level. But the only reason but why would you upgrade this weapon to level 19 if you can just equip this weapon instead? Like, why would you upgrade a level 13 weapon if you can just use this weapon instead? That's the part I never understood. Maybe there's a particular skill you want, but if you upgrade that one to level 19, it's probably no stronger than this. So again, the game gives you more weapons, but they don't seem to be in any way necessary. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of stuff like this I don't really like about this system. It's just the game gives you a bunch of gear, but the gear isn't that meaningful. You're always going to get a better weapon anyway. So There's no reason to upgrade the weapons you have because the weapons you have don't have any qualities that you really need to upgrade. Like I could probably like what's a quality of a weapon that I really like? Like I remember the arrow I saw earlier. Those arrows, there was an arrow here that I could use to set enemies on fire without lighting it on fire with a torch. The problem is that I can upgrade this weapon, and it's probably objectively weaker than the other weapon, the other bows I'm using. But I can upgrade this to level 19, I'll probably do a little bit more damage, so I guess it's worth it in that sense. Or I can just dismantle it and get, like, you know, cedar wood and iron or something, I don't know. Because remember, legendary and rare weapons have more crafting materials than normal weapons do when you dismantle them. I think all I get for this one is just bronze. Bronze. And this one, it's a wooden shield, but I get bronze out of it. Don't ask. All weapons of the same class pretty much give you the same crafting materials. Arrows always give you cedar wood. Spears always give you iron and something else. Shields always give you bronze and something else. Also, each class of weapons has the same basic property. Balanced weapon, they all swing the exact same way. Sickle sword all swings the exact same way. It's a little bit slower, but it causes enemies to bleed. So it's weaker than a regular sword, but they bleed if you cut them, I guess. The problem is that it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. These dual swords are fast, but they're kind of weak. And I don't trust those damage levels because these weapons, okay, they stab a bunch of times. But they're kind of weaker compared to this one, where if you just slash it once or twice, the enemy's going to die anyway. Something like that. Your average enemy, that's my experience level or lower, will die in a couple of hits. Maybe 4. If you do a 4-hit combo on them, they're done. These bludgeon weapons are kind of interesting if you use them, like if you're fighting animals and you're on, say, a rock, like you climb a rock to kind of get away from a crocodile or a lion that can't climb that rock. You might be able to attack them from a distance with one of these weapons, because you can kind of swing overhead and have it land on them, that kind of thing. Let's see, you got a heavy blade that pretty much serves the same purpose. Scepters are supposed to be fast, but they're kind of weak. I don't get them. They're supposed to have a long reach, but they don't seem their reach doesn't seem to be any longer than a regular sword. So from my experience, as far as the combat's concerned, it's not that big of a deal. These spears apparently have a longer range, and they're apparently useful for if you're on a horse, but I don't think they're that useful. I can never make sense of this. Check out my melee damage at the bottom of the screen. See where it says 95 down here? If I switch from this to my sword, it goes down to 87, which is weird. That doesn't seem to match the damage per second model at all. Maybe it's a speed thing. That's probably it. Melee damage of 50, but again, they're fast, so that's fine. Melee damage 184. This is a 44. And these are wasters. So again, it's about figuring out how the weapons move. Like, what's their swinging animation like? That determines the usefulness of the weapon, from my experience. Inventory. I've mentioned the papyrus puzzles. Again, ammo goods you get by hunting animals. Trinkets you get from treasure chests, usually. Quest items, I haven't bothered to make a note of them. I think I just find them when I'm wandering around on a quest. Again, these are the crafting items I've collected. You get these by killing animals and breaking down. You get these from treasure chests, random loot you find inside of pots and baskets. And you also find these when you're wandering around the open world. Basic stuff. Gear. Okay, I only have one kind of mount. It's a camel. I call him Humpty. The more important issue is that you can also find horses out in the open world, and you can steal them. All animals seem to have the same speed, except, I think, the war chariots. I believe the chariots are a little bit faster. But if you can't find it in the open world, and they don't spawn that often, you have to buy them. You have to buy them from a stable, and I see no reason to buy anything from a stable in this game. Maybe you might want to buy one just for funsies. I think it's a cosmetic upgrade, frankly. But maybe the war chariots are useful, but you can buy them. Where do you buy them? Right here? No. There it is. You can buy war chariots in stable shops, but they're kind of expensive, and you have to actually unlock it with experience. So they're midway up the skill tree, so they're not something you're gonna get right away, unless you build immediately towards them, as you saw. But I'll just make that clear. You want this? You gotta go. It's the only way to get there is to go through these branches of the skill tree. It's gonna take you a while to get there. Although I should mention, this branch is open from the beginning, as is this one and this one. So these branches are open right away. So you can just have an idea about what we're talking about. Any other gear worth noting? You get the sleep darts I mentioned. You can craft a breastplate if you want more HP. I don't. You can equip a bracer if you want more melee damage. See down here how useful that is not. It's like 2% increase to my damage. Increase your range damage by 4% with a stabilizer glove. Nope. Max ammo capacity, I'm definitely going to want that. Didn't I already increase this? No, I didn't. Yeah, I did the sleeping dart instead. I guess I shouldn't have done that. But I'll get more pelts later. I can buy them from other shops. They'll be fine. In fact, let me increase. You already increased this one several times already. I think this was 1500 a while ago, but I upgraded it twice already. Let me go to one of the other weavers, see if I can get more felt. Because I'm down to the felt. As the poker junkies like to say. Excuse me. Whoop, treasure. Sometimes you'll stand right next to a treasure chest and it won't open, which is really annoying if you're on a stealth mission. You're trying to steal treasure from underneath, from right underneath a military camp or something. You'll try and steal a treasure chest. You'll be standing on top of it and it won't open. So then you'll get attacked because you couldn't open the treasure chest quickly enough. So that's kind of annoying. Where's the weaver? There's another weaver right here. You, sir, ma'am.
Come. Look over.
Can I buy more? Nope, I'm out of. Okay, so I can't buy. I can buy hard leather or soft leather, which I don't need. So let me go to this other weaver and see if I can buy more stuff that I need. Or just want.
How can I help you?
Okay, so I can buy more pelt here. So if there's more than one weaver, you can buy all of them out.
All right.
And I have plenty of money, so I'm not worried about that. So I'm gonna buy. So instead of hunting hyenas for pelt, I'm going to not there. Instead of hunting hyenas for pelt, I'm gonna buy it. You're gonna complain about that at all? You. You have crap I want, right? Yep, 3 more pelts. So I'll go to another weaver and buy some more.
See you some other time.
Let's see. Should probably mention, as far as, I'll talk about performance later, but the frame rate really tanks when you're inside these crowded areas. Frame rate is generally, it targets 30 frames a second. It's rarely it's rarely at 30 unless there's no one on screen. The game tends to be between 25 and 30 frames per second, and when you're in a city, you'll dip to the teens. Fair warning. Thankfully, combat isn't really a problem, but it will happen in certain areas. It might have been patched, but again, this is me playing an unpatched disc without an internet connection. So, if the performance sucks on launch, it might have gotten better since then. I'm not sure. For up to me, if I could play this game on PC, I play at a higher frame rate, like 60 frames per second. I would play it at a VGA resolution, on medium, settings, and the game would still look fine. I'll double check. So we're gonna end the I guess we're gonna do a separate video where I actually wander around. But let's do some more stuff on here. Let's just unlock this area so you get to see what's going on. I got my camel. Hold down on the D-pad. You can also press down, just kind of whistle. Press down on the D-pad once, you just do a quick whistle to distract enemies or lure them, basically. But if you hold down the D-pad, your camel will appear off screen. The trick is to turn your back to the camel, and then hold down the D-pad so your camel always appears behind you. Now I'm gonna steal this. I'm gonna steal this papyrus puzzle, which again will be like an easy experience by grabbing this papyrus puzzle. I just parkour up. It's a nice prompt. Up on the D-pad. Okay, I can't look in here, but it is over here. Wait a minute. I missed the puzzle. The puzzle's over there. Circle. You have to hold circle to safely climb to the ground. I learned that the hard way. The game tries to prevent you from leaping to your death, but if you get sloppy, you will jump to your death. The experience points just by picking up an item. You don't even have to look for it, really. And it's one of these. Yeah, again, I think these are like mysteries. I guess I'll finish up my rest stop by doing one of these. But again, stuff like this isn't so bad. Like I said, it's nice to have an open world game where you can get experience just by wandering around. I kind of prefer that. Yeah, the combat is okay, but you kind of have to do stealth because straight ahead combat isn't that great in this game. And I'll do some combat later on so you get to see how it's kind of basic. No matter what weapon you use, it's kind of basic. Anything else to report, really? Well, I mean, again, I guess I'll show you some of the quests again. Let's see. Again, the game shows you how far you are from your quest. It gives you a suggested level. So unlike Skyrim, where the enemies level up with you, the game says, okay, if you do this specific quest, you will face enemies in that quest that are this experience level. Side quests will also spawn in certain areas of the game while you're wandering around. Again, they're an easy way to gain experience. I tend to believe that some of these side quests are like Radiant quests in Skyrim. They're fetch quests. Go here, look through these treasure chests and give me this, or look through these treasure chests. Investigate this area. Investigation quests mean go to this area, don't get into combat, interact with these particular objects by holding up on the D-pad. If you hold up on the D-pad, you can see if there's any loot chests around. Whoa. If you see white triangles, that's regular loot. If you see yellow triangles, I want to say that's interactive items. If you see blue triangles, I want to say those are story-related items. Whoa. Or at least they're just lore. They're not anything you really need to collect. Yeah, I'll wander a bit. I was trying to get on the road. But there are no people here. It's just as well, because this place is kind of dangerous. But again, that was an easy experience. I'm glad you got to see that. Let's see. I guess we'll investigate that later. We can't cross the ocean here, but I think we can get in a boat. Up. No, no loot. Whoa. I don't think we can ride this boat. Don't worry, I can leave my camel behind and it'll follow me no matter where I go, so don't worry. I cannot steal this boat, I don't think. It's fine. There's some fun stuff you can do on, like if you see ships that you can rob, there might be soldiers on them, you can kill the captain of the ship and then leave. Stuff like that. There's treasure chests on triremes. Yeah, there are triremes out in the water, you can, get those. Those are kind of fun. Whoa. Swimming is kind of slow, honestly. I guess I'll show you how slow swimming is. You don't want to get into trouble because the enemies here are too strong. Let me show you how the swimming works. So yeah, basic stuff. You can hold your breath for a long time, by the way. Although the only things that will attack you are alligators and hippos. So keep that in mind. I might show you a hippo later. So hold D to climb here. We can mount. That means we can steal this boat. The sail gets in the way, so keep that in mind. I want to say there are two kinds of boats: the ones with sails and the ones without sails. You can steal those. There are also ferries that you can kind of sit on, or you can borrow them. But for the most part, they're just regular boats. So if you want to control a boat, just pick one that's unoccupied. Where am I going? Let's go over here to the other side, see what it's doing. So we'll go south. On the top center of the screen, you can see the name of the region. There's also a compass below that. You know, if you want to know which way you're going. Some of these areas, like I said, look very good, especially when you see a lot of crowded areas with lots of boats. Those are great. So this game does a lot of great stuff as far as like creating a living, breathing world. It's actually fantastic for that. Like I said, this game does not have a cut and paste feel. Unlike, something like a Just Cause 4, the areas never feel depopulated, even though you're in the middle of a desert. It always feels like there's something somewhere around the corner that's worth exploring. So I always appreciate that. And some of this water is pretty shallow. So like I said, if you have a mount, you can kind of cross the water that way. Another boat. Oh, wait, hold up on the D-pad. There is treasure somewhere here. Whoop, there's a alligator. Well, that's a high-level alligator. You don't want to mess with them. If they're a skull ranking, you do not want to mess with them. Which, of course, is the problem with this area, is that everything here is really strong. Okay, where's the treasure? Just a second. It's around here somewhere. Yeah, I need the reticle to shrink. Okay, I saw the reticle shrink. What am I looking at? There it is. There's another one over here, right? Come on, there's another treasure chest here. It's a little puzzle. That shows you what the treasure chests are. You just have to go to where the reticle shrinks. There it is. Yep, you don't want to mess with them. You might be able to lure them away, but I don't know if it's worth it. Circle around, circle around. You can also go backwards if you can't really see. Yeah, don't mess with this. Don't mess with the alligators. They call them crocodiles, but they're really alligators. You ain't fooling anybody. Yep, they will eat your boat, so keep that in mind. I think about 3 or 4 swings of their tail, and they'll eat your boat. So keep that in mind. Unfortunately, there's no meter that says how beat up your ship is. In fact, you can run your ship aground. So if you slam into this wall, you will break your ship. So keep that in mind if you're exploring by boat. Okay, where's the treasure? There's more random loot up here. I'll show you what I mean. Again, most of the loot in here is just pennies, so it's not great. Oh, we got a good treasure here. I'm trying to hold down the triangle button. There we go. Got a light bow. Again, all the weapons I'm finding are pretty much my experience level and no higher. They can't be any higher than my experience level, but that's just what I'm dealing with. And you can see lines piercing out from your character. That's how you know there's a treasure chest near you. Oh, over there. Yeah, over there. And this doesn't look to be that important. See? I got cedar wood. No, I can't steal that. I can't steal those pelts though. They're completely ornamental, which I think is kind of amusing. You can steal all the money inside their baskets, you know? All the pennies and quarters, they're all yours. Right here? No, the treasure chest's on the other side. You don't want to mess with that. Let me see if I can steal the treasure underneath that alligator. I might be able to steal that treasure. I'm going to make it quick. See? So I got the treasure, and I get... Move! Sometimes your character gets stuck in the geometry, don't get me started. But I completed that quest. The outskirts of Heracleon. So that problem was solved. See, so I didn't even have to fight the alligators. I just had to kind of avoid them entirely. And I completed this treasure. I completed this quest. I got the loot. And I got the experience. So it all worked out. there any more treasure over here, I thought? No. That's okay. You get the idea. So, again, that's the kind of thing I would be doing to gain experience. Just go to someplace new. But again, there's no reason for me to to risk my life getting that treasure because the alligators were way too strong. They could have killed me if they wanted to. But if I go to a lower level area, the alligators are a lot easier to deal with. So that's what I'm talking about. She got to see me on a boat. I guess we'll go to Memphis because Memphis is a really good looking area. We're probably gonna have to end the video pretty soon anyway. We'll have to do a second video. Yeah, we'll go boating near Memphis. The enemies here are pretty strong though, but we'll kind of muck around, see how it goes. I'm not going online. Don't ask me for my comment on any online crap. Not interested in anyway. So this will be a good excuse for me to end the video, is to actually show you the Nile River, because Memphis is definitely one of the best looking areas of the game. And I guess we'll see a pyramid later. I guess I'll do a video I'll do a combat heavy video where we look at the pyramids. And we'll kind of wander around, do some real fighting. So you get to see how the combat is. I want to give somebody, again, you got a chance to see a flavor of the non-combat stuff. You know, wandering around looking for stuff. Looking for new locations. Clearing them out. That kind of thing. Completing a quest without having to deal with combat. We'll do the combat stuff later. This is the scenic tour. Yeah, this. Just jump in the water. We'll be fine. Okay, so where's the boat? There are hippos out here in the Nile, in case you're wondering, so keep that in mind. Okay, I'm assuming this is rain, isn't it? Yeah, without commentary where it wasn't. Well, yeah, give me that. Hey, dude. Yeah, I'll just, I'm not going to borrow your boat. I'm just going to sit. Do your thing, dog. I'll just press up on the D-pad, and I'll wander around and show you the sights. It was a lot sunnier the last time I visited. This is what I'm talking about. See, there's no one over. You can't even explore that area there east of the Nile River. But you get stuff like this. Alligators. Level 20 alligators. There are also sunken ships down there. I think I already cleared out that sunken ship over there. But you see, look at this, look at this, look at this. Look how glorious Memphis is in this game. See, I wasn't lying when I said this was one of the best looking video games ever made. It is, it really is. And places like this, I'm glad, you know, I'll spend like a bunch of time here, you know, doing random side quests because it's just a gorgeous place. The other problem is that, unfortunately, if you're riding your horse through the town and using your eagle, the frame rate hitches pretty bad. It's fine now, but that gives you some idea about what we're dealing with. But I mean, look at this. I mean, you're wandering the Nile, you're checking out all the boats. There's an animal in captivity over there, I think, on the boat. I can just do this and just look for treasure chests, I guess. But yeah, see, look at this. This is a place I want to visit, even if it's not real. I definitely want to visit a place like this. Right on the Nile, all these palm trees, glorious sun, boats on the water. It's great. So stuff like this. Well, before I end the video, again, I wish it were sunnier, because this scene looked a little bit better when there weren't so many clouds. You can see the pyramids in the distance too. That's Giza over there, I want to say. Zoom out. Yep, those are the pyramids of Giza, northwest of us. Yeah, that's actually we're gonna go there in our next video. There are also some a bit more terraced pyramids, obviously, but the ones we're familiar with are the ones that are just straight up, you know, pyramids. Yeah, I got a bunch of fast travel points here, so I think we're fine. There's plenty to do here in Memphis. And I'll come back here later, because this is definitely a place I'm going to want to revisit again, because there's so much going on here in Memphis. Memphis, in fact, Memphis is basically what it's a little bit bigger, but the idea is this